Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News, June 24th, 2018. I'd like to welcome all of you here this Sunday morning, and for some of you, it is Monday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of this last week, we've had so many things going on across the world, from absolute climate chaos, volcanoes, earthquakes, and politics. You know, ladies and gentlemen, throughout 2016 and most of 2017, I mentioned to all of my followers and subscribers, people who watch Planet X News, I mentioned to all of you that these things were going to occur. And like a domino effect, they will scatter across our globe. You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's not too much that we can physically do about the things that are happening to our planet. One thing that we can do is that we can spread this awareness. The awakening is now. There is no doubt about that. It is now our job to, as I say, educate each other. Stick by and stand by each other. Because in the end, folks, the closest people to you in the time of tragedy, those have to be the people that you can trust. There may be a lot of them. There only may be a few. Preparation. Listen, folks, we've talked about preparation many, many times before. And, you know, having enough food supplies and water. And I'm going to be quite frank, ladies and gentlemen, some form of protection. That's a must. Now, on the 19th of June, I was going back and I was reviewing some footage on the sun, and I detected a very small X flare. Really nothing to write home about, but quite interesting to see. The last X flare that occurred on the sun was a massive X flare. We reported on it. Many other YouTube channels reported on it for days. It was just by chance that the Earth was not in a position to feel all of the effects of that X flare. And ladies and gentlemen, let's be quite frank here. These X flares can wipe out our planet. There's no doubt about that. Over the course of Earth's history, which, you know, honestly, we really don't know that much about. You can sit here and listen to scientists telling you that, you know, they know what happened billions of years ago. Excuse me. But folks, I think that's false. How could mainstream science know what happened billions of years ago, millions of years ago, even if it was thousands of years ago? Other than maybe some ancient writings that they would have to translate, would depict what those times were like. Folks, there's no sense in living in the past. We need to live in the present and the very near future. That's the big guess. What is going to happen in the near future? You know, we can only report on what we're seeing. We really can't predict it. We're living it. And I'm sure each and every one of you that follow Planet X News and Dr. Elbers and some other YouTube channels, I'm sure that you are seeing these massive changes. We've been talking about them now for more than 2 years. We see things happening in politics around the world in many, many countries that are absolutely insane. These politicians, these government leaders, they're out of control. Absolutely out of control. There's no doubt about that. I honestly believe that a lot of the countries on this planet are not in control of their own governments. You know, folks, let's be realistic here. We know that money and power is what drives the forces inside of these world leaders and these world governments. They are very, very fearful of losing control over their populations. Almost like they are treating all of us like they own us. And in fact, they don't. You know, God gave us free will. We cannot allow that free will to be taken away. Sooner or later, folks, we're going to have to take a stand. You know, it doesn't have to be a violent stand. Protests and violence. Well, you know, we would be met with these police states, the riot squads, militaries. We see it happening already around the world. It's now happening in my backyard here in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Over the course of the last 4 days, there have been massive protests in and around the city, blocking highways and freeways and expressways, multiple demonstrations going on within the city and at the courthouse. And this is all stemming from a police officer shooting a 17-year-old black male in the back 3 times as he was running away. Antoine Rose is his name. If any of you want to catch up on some of this, you can go to any one of the Pittsburgh news stations just by simply Googling that, Pittsburgh news stations. Check it out. You know, we've seen this type of demonstration which leads to rioting, and that's something that I'm fearing right now because these riots will basically destroy the inner neighborhoods, and people do lose their lives. People end up in jail, and people end up hurt. I'm not going to get into too much of this shooting because that's not what this live stream is about. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, whenever something happens, it is the catalyst for demonstrations. Then you see groups that are led by this despicable scumbag George Soros infiltrating the event that has happened, like this young teenager being shot in the back by this police officer. The next thing you know, we have these protest groups being bussed in from many other locations. We've seen it happen time and time again. Don't even get me started on what is happening in Europe, what is happening in other countries. It is devastating. There are revolts going on in South America. There are revolts going around in many of the European countries. And we see clearly what is happening in the UK in relation to Mr. Tommy Robinson. I've mentioned his name before. We are in full support of Tommy. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, this climate chaos that is now occurring in our skies, it is absolutely out of hand. It all goes in line together, folks. Everything that is happening around us is being planned. We see the infiltration of these violent migrants moving into European countries, moving into many countries. And now, here in my city, it is now happening. Yesterday, in my day-to-day business, I was out and about and in, several different places. Never before have I seen migrants from the continent of Africa. Yesterday I saw slews of them. I recognized them, I recognized their appearance, and I recognized their language. They're all from Somalia. We've never had a Somalian population in the city of Pittsburgh. Never. We've had a very, very small Mexican population over the course of years. A lot of them I've worked with. They've come to this country legally. And, I worked on big construction projects with them. I spoke perfect English. I've talked to a lot of them. Most of them did the right thing by coming to this country legally. Now, many of you have seen what has been played out on mainstream media with the detention of these children because their parents crossed the U.S. border illegally. Okay, folks, look, let's just cut to the chase here. If you enter any country illegally, you will be detained. It is illegal. Some countries sentence you to 5, 10 years in their dirty, filthy prisons. So these children that are being held at several of these detention centers were taken away from their parents. Well, listen, folks, I don't know about you. I know quite a bit about the law. If you break the law, they take your kids away from you. Here in the United States, if a parent's going to prison or going to jail, there's no one else here in the United States to take care of these children. You end up in foster care. We talked so much in the early parts of 2016 and 2017 about these FEMA camps. Walmarts being converted into makeshift detention centers. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time the United States has done this. They did it back in World War II with all of the Japanese citizens that were here in the United States. They rounded them up and they put them into detention camps. We've been warning people about these Walmart conversions. They're all over the place, folks. They're surrounded by armed security. They're not local police. They don't seem to be of U.S. military nature. They're probably contractors. A lot of these Walmarts have been converted to detention centers. I've had a few people tell me, that's nonsense. Oh, that's nonsense. Well, where do you think these minor children that weren't really from Mexico, folks, a lot of these kids were from Central America. So where do you think they detained them? Well, one of the detention centers happened to be a converted Walmart. Now, I'm not saying that Walmart's directly involved in all of this, but I do have that feeling in the pit of my stomach that they actually are. Maybe they're getting some huge tax breaks from the federal government. Who knows? Who cares? That's not the point. The fact of the matter is that this is occurring. It has occurred, and it will occur again. There are rumors flying around, and I did a short report on it yesterday, about these FEMA barges heading towards Hawaii. They should be there already. Probably not docked directly near shore, but somewhat offshore is the information that I was getting. We saw the FEMA barges move into Texas last year during the hurricane season and the massive flooding situation there around Houston. So folks, We see what is happening in Hawaii. We saw what happened last year during the hurricane season. So we're going to get a little replay of last year, but it's probably going to be worse. We're really not into the peak of the hurricane season, so we're going to put that on the back burner for now. But the volcanic eruptions at Kilauea are devastating. I mean, I can only imagine the billions of tons of lava that has spewed over that portion of the Big Island. And it's not going to stop. It is going to continue. All of you, I'm sure you've been keeping up on what's happening. I've done some reports on it. There are multiple reports coming out every single day on YouTube and on Facebook. The biggest worry that I see and I'm concerned with dealing with Hawaii, and Kilauea is if that large chunk of land slides into the ocean, that will create a massive, massive tsunami. Some estimate the height between 500 and 1,000 feet. Who knows? But any subsidence into the ocean of that magnitude will be devastating, and it will be felt across most of the Pacific, possibly even colliding with the shores of the western part of the United States, Central America, and South America. But it hasn't happened yet, but it could. The catalyst is there, so we will keep our eyes on what is happening there. There have been several other major volcanic blasts over the past 10 days. Guatemala, Japan, a few others. We're also seeing very, very intense heat in some of the Middle Eastern countries and here in the United States. Temperatures reaching well over 100 degrees. Now, some of these areas in the U.S., well, that's kind of normal. But then again, some of these areas that are experiencing this intense heat, no, it's not normal. Temperatures of 105, every single day, that's pretty rough. I read one report about temperatures reaching almost 120 degrees in India. Again, they got hammered last year and the year before with intense cold and intense heat. So we see the climate chaos forming around the globe. It's not going to stop. Massive amounts of rain, downpours that, folks, I've never seen anything like this before. I lived in South Florida for 22 years. I was used to the hurricanes. I was used to the downpours in the early afternoon. I've traveled pretty much around the world over my course in my career, and I've seen weather, all kinds of weather. But the things that are happening now, I've never seen before. Couldn't even imagine what is happening now. I could not even imagine that in the past. But we are seeing it. We are experiencing it. One of my biggest fears right now here in the United States is I worry highly about the folks that live in the middle part of this country. Tornado Alley, as they call it. Folks, these storms are getting bigger, they're getting stronger and more powerful. Over the course of years, we've seen small towns throughout the Midwest completely wiped out. We may possibly see even more of this year. I think our hurricane season is going to be extended well past its November 1st deadline. but we'll see. Dr. Albers and I have been keeping an eye on what is happening in the North Pole, in the Arctic. Massive amounts of sea ice depleting. There are very, very huge concerns pertaining to the North Pole. I'm not a climatologist, but I do listen to and I do follow some very educated individuals that are on point, and they've been monitoring the situation for quite some time, and their data proves what is happening in the North Pole. Let's talk about the South Pole. We don't know what's happening in the South Pole. We can't fly over it. You can't get there. It's pretty well locked up. Lord only knows what they're doing down there in the Antarctica. You can only theorize and maybe form an opinion. Earth changes are here to stay. They are going to be a part of our lives every single minute of the day. Let me give all of you some advice, and I want you to heed my warning. Listen, folks, the sun right now is very powerful in the sense that the ultraviolet radiation that is impacting our planet is so intense, it is damaging to the human body. More damaging to your young children, teenagers, young adults. You know, folks, you may be out there on an 80-degree day and think nothing of it. And then maybe 30 minutes later, an hour later, your skin is blistered. Even though the temperatures may not feel that hot, the intensity of the sun is extreme. As our magnetosphere weakens, as we move closer to this grand solar minimum, our shields are weakening. They're down. More of the sun's radiation will be impacting our planet. So, heed the warning. Try not to be out there in the sun for very long periods of time. Use some form of protection. You know, I mean, whether it's sunscreens or wearing thin, long-sleeved shirts, you know, a hat. Listen, folks, you know, just last week I was out cutting my grass. It was only about 82 degrees. I was only out there for 30 minutes, had my shirt off, and sure enough, an hour later after I came in, my whole the tops of my shoulders and the back of my neck, it was completely blistered. Blistered. Each and every pore on my body in those areas formed a blister. Just my one arm from, hanging out of the car as I drive, that arm is blistered and the other arm is perfectly fine. That's just driving with my arm hanging out of the window. So for all of you that have very young children, babies and toddlers and just kids in general, folks, I know it's summertime here in the Northern Hemisphere, but you've got to protect your babies. You've got to protect your children. I know they may be a pain in the ass, being in the house all the time during the summer, but things are not like they used to be when all of us were kids. Okay, things have drastically changed, and there's not much that we can do about what is happening above, but we can spread that awareness, educate. Listen, folks, if somebody doesn't want to listen to you, then let them learn the hard way. When you see them learning the hard way, Well, that's when you step back in and you use that phrase, hey, I told you so. Now, are you ready to listen to me? It seems to work. Some people are thick-headed. Some people just don't believe in what is happening. But it is clearly unfolding in front of each and every one of us. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, I rolled out a new Planet X News format. And the reason why I rolled the format out the way that I did was for numerous reasons. I want to be able to get as much information out to the followers of Planet X News. I want to get this information out to you as fast as possible. You've heard me complain before about YouTube filtering and censoring our reach. Well, that's a fact, folks. They're doing it. I have proof of it. So do other YouTube channels. Facebook is now intensely doing it. Our views, both on Facebook and on YouTube, have fallen about 93%. But the views on our website at planetxnews.org, well, those views have actually gained in numbers. As I've said before, all of our videos are shared on our website. It is a YouTube URL link. So when you watch a video, YouTube related, on our website, that view goes through that URL link. So, how could I have 50,000 views on a video from our website, but the same video on YouTube only has the same 3,000 or 4,000 views? Ladies and gentlemen, Planet X News is very quickly approaching on 72,000 subscribers. If you just think about it, so we have over 70,000 subscribers, and we post a video. Wouldn't you think, just on the low numbers, that you would have at least 35,000, half of your followers, watching your video? I mean, they've subscribed to your channel. They're still subscribed to your channel. They must be interested in the content that you are producing, the information at hand. But see, folks, that's not happening. That hasn't happened in almost a year now. We've been fighting back and forth with YouTube. They claim there's nothing wrong. Well, that's complete and utter bullshit. And they know it. It's these new algorithms, and they do not want the information getting that far out there. You know, folks, we used to have subscribers all over the world. We still do. How much of our content are they able to see? Probably not much. The majority of them are viewing our content on a cell phone. They can't use the internet to get the Planet X News on YouTube or even on Facebook now. After looking over some analytics on Facebook, things are down 93%. How is that possible when we have almost 20,000 legitimate followers on our Planet X News Facebook page? We only hear from the same 25 or 30 people. That's it. So I've complained to Facebook a few days ago, and they gave me one of their bullshit, remarks. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong. No, we don't filter anything. No, we don't censor, blah, blah, blah. Again, the lies coming from the leaders of social media, because they know this is the way that we produce information and get it out to everyone. And they want to stop that. They want to curb that. We know that. So, over the course of last week, I was thinking to myself, how can I get to our followers? How can I get to our subscribers? How can I make them see what is happening? And I came up with a pretty good idea. A quick idea. So I decided to, write articles. And yesterday we produced 12 videos. 12 one-minute videos on Planet X News, detailing specific stories and current events that are happening around the world. It gives you the opportunity to preview the story within a minute, and then if you're interested in more of the content of that story, that news report, then you can click on the link in the description box and you can go directly to planetxnews.org, our website that we control. And I'll be honest, folks, it may take a little getting used to for all of you, but we need to maintain control of our own. I'm tired of YouTube controlling me. I'm tired of Facebook now controlling me. We need to take back the streets, as they say. So, we're going to go ahead and, I'm going to give you guys a little preview of this real quick. But before I do that, I wanted to bring you to my analytics page. And real quick, this is going to show you where our right now, this is showing you our reach as far as YouTube goes. And you can see here in the United States, anything labeled in blue is naturally of a higher reach. You might not be able to see this too well, but this is the UK. It's just light blue. The rest of the world, folks, last year, the majority of Mexico, Central America, South America, several countries in Africa, Australia, New Zealand, even Russia, China, India, the Middle East, and countries up here in the Nordic area, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Spain, France, all of the European countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we have subscribers and followers all around the world. Last year, this map was lit up in dark blue. It no longer is. Why? Because they cannot see what we are doing. That's a fact. The stats and the analytics do not lie. So, my point, if there was nothing, no credence to what we research and investigate and report on, why silence us? Why stop the flow of information? If it was just for damn entertainment purposes, what do they care? Why does YouTube care so much? Why does Facebook care so much? Because the governments put pressure on them to filter and censor and stop the flow of information. It is a fact. We are still reaching people in these countries, as you can see. So there are numbers in all of these countries. Even in Greenland, even in little Iceland, you could see small amounts of people are still able to see our content. Look at this. Even in China, Japan, Russia, Australia, even in the Indonesian countries. But how much of it do they see? Probably not much. So that is one of the reasons why I wanted to change some of the format and change the way that we do things. So I'm just going to quickly bring you over here to our main channel. And yesterday we produced 12 videos, 12 stories, news reports from around the world. Very, very interesting material. So what this allows you to do, folks, again, if you go ahead over here, this was a story related to Yellowstone and the geyser activity. It's been increasing at Yellowstone, and it is now sparking once again more conversation on this supervolcano and possible eruptions. So whenever you click on the link, naturally, one of YouTube's expensive ads pops up, and you do have the opportunity to skip the ad. So what I've done is I've made a template, and the template it's about 1 minute. 1 minute and 2 seconds. And I put the article, the news article that I've produced, it's on our website. The full article, complete with everything that you need to know about the event or the news report. Some of them have detailed video and detailed photographs, and it allows you to go to the website, view the article in peace. You know, not being harassed by these little scumbag YouTube troll babies that think they're going to change the world and they're not changing anything. So this gives you the opportunity to catch a quick read of what this article is about. And then, right here in the description box is the link to our website for this article. And as you scroll down, you can read the entire article. And there is video. And folks, the video that is in this article about Yellowstone, the video came from one of my local news stations reporting on Yellowstone and what was happening there. So we're a long ways away from Yellowstone, but a Pittsburgh news station was reporting on it yesterday. So, you know, it'd take you about maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to read the article. It's good information. And what we're asking is click over here. You can get the link and copy it and paste it wherever you want. You can immediately share it to Facebook. Just like that. It's that simple. You have the opportunity right up here to share it on a friend's timeline. Send it in a private message for them to look at. Send it to a group message if you have those groups set up. But folks, it's that easy. 1, 2, 3. That video is now, or this article is now posted on Facebook for everyone to read that's associated with you. We're going to go back to Planet X News, our website. And again, all of these short news reports will be previewed in a short video on our Planet X News YouTube channel. This was a story about that massive dust storm that has formed on Mars. You know, you may not be interested in it, but folks, there's something going on the red planet, and it's pretty damn interesting. There's a lot of good photographs and video in this article. Yesterday, some information came up pertaining to the grand solar minimum is coming, and you know, I threw my twist in there. And is Planet X increasing the speed, the timing of the grand solar minimum? It is possible. We're still looking into this theory. We have a blood red moon coming up in July. Prophecy alerts coming from all angles. Again, fantastic article. You just simply click on read more. It's all there. We did a pretty good update yesterday on Kilauea, complete with all of the USGS information and photographs and video. It's all right there, folks. You know, I actually like this format a little bit more because it gives you the opportunity to view the information at your leisure. Take your time. There's a bunch of videos that are included in the Kilauea update. Another story here, ocean disappears in the Gulf of Thailand. Okay, we've been talking about the receding water for over a year now. Once again, oceans disappear in the Gulf of Thailand. Again, another good read. You have the opportunity to share it. Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, get the link, email it to somebody. And there was the article that came out about these FEMA barges arriving in Hawaii, 10 miles off the coast. Yeah, they're just sitting there. Okay, they're not medical barges, folks. These are prison barges. And, you know, if you're a husband and wife and you happen to end up on one of these FEMA barges, you are stripped away from your husband or your wife. You are separated. Horror stories coming out of Houston last year during the hurricane and these FEMA barges approaching. From what I understand, there's still a lot of missing people. Where are they? Yeah, that's what I said. Very odd story coming out of Peru. A massive cold wave plunging temperatures to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, killing over 600 people. That is insane. That is climate chaos. Then there was an article that I read and I looked into it, and it was about Donald Trump exposing the existence of FEMA camps through the immigration crisis. You know, in the beginning of this article, folks, I thought that this was kind of absurd. And as I looked into it further, there's a lot of credence to this. You know, some people don't like Trump. Some people hate his guts. Some people like him. Bottom line is, the President of the United States does not control this country. The big oil companies, the big media companies, the almighty dollar, the secret space program, the deep state, yeah, they're all trying to control the U.S. We're out of control in this country. And there's a few other countries that are completely out of control. And the UK and Germany are two of them. They need to get their shit together. And the people of these countries, they need to take back their land. Take back their country. Same thing's happening in South Africa. Crazy governments and militant groups killing farmers. Take back their land. Get the hell out of here. 3,500 people have been murdered already in South Africa. Probably more than that. But that was the last statistic that came out. So once again, folks, you know, very, very interesting information that we will be detailing on our website. See, you can't censor my website. If you want to go look at it, you can go look at it. If you're using a cell phone from China or Russia, okay, you can get to Planet X News. You have links directly to Planet X News YouTube channel, Dr. Elber's YouTube channel, and our online store. I'm just going to click on this here real quick. Here's our Planet X News online store. And, you know, I've mentioned it many, many times before, folks. You know, you may not think very much of a $22 t-shirt, but it does spread awareness. It does invoke the conversations. People ask you, oh, what's Planet X News? Oh, what's Planet X physicist? Oh, what are chemtrails? I mean, my last trip to Walmart, one of the employees working in the fresh produce section literally called out to me because he saw me wearing my chemtrail jersey. And he knew all about it. He had been looking up the information. He had been watching different things on YouTube and reading about it. We got into a 15-minute conversation. And then I walked into another aisle, the frozen food section, and I was stopped by a husband and wife in their early 50s. They started talking to me about the shirt. It has logos on the front and the back. It comes in a men's style shirt and also a ladies style. Here's the ladies cut. A little bit different. Same logo on the back. And here's your colors. You can pick the colors. You can do whatever you want and pick your sizes. And it ships and it's delivered within 5 to 7 days. Wow. $22. You know, folks, you probably got $22 in change sitting in the cup holder in your car. So, you know, there are many ways for all of us to help spread the awareness. I have two online t-shirt stores. I do a lot of, Harley Davidson and other types of clothing lines on my Deep Dream clothing over here. But, if you guys are interested in Planet X News, YouTube just teamed up with Teespring. And now these shirts appear right below our videos. So you can click on one of them. You could go right to our Planet X News online store. If you're interested, you can purchase a shirt. I did one yesterday for Dr. Elbers. Nice logo, her logo right in the center of the Planet X physicist, and on the back, stop chemtrails. Folks, when somebody's standing behind you in a line, walking behind you in a store, wherever the hell you're at, they're going to be looking at this. So, if you want to invest $22 on a shirt, do it. Do it. Don't hold back. Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And I'll show you how this appears. Now here's the video that we were watching for Yellowstone. And here are the shirts. Right here. So recently, YouTube teamed up with Teespring. And for certain channels that have X amount of subscribers and blah, 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 part of their merchandising campaign. Well, this fit our agenda perfectly because I feel that when you're wearing one of these shirts, you're like a walking billboard. So, folks, if you want to help, okay, let's do it. It's all fine if people want to donate and contribute financially by sending in donations. But why not get something for your money? Something that will produce more awareness, produce that conversation, strike up those words. I love the idea. It's actually one of the smartest things that YouTube's done in the last 2 or 3 years. So you can click on any one of these shirts. They're all right there. You can just keep on going through them. And again, I always make sure that the shirts are done in a ladies style and also a men's style. If any of you have ideas about a specific slogan or, picture or logo that you would like to see me put on a shirt and put on our Planet X News, just drop me an inbox message on Facebook, and I'll look into it and possibly put it out there. But again, folks, this new format that I'm producing, I really like it. it gave me the ability yesterday to produce 12 articles, 12 videos to get this information out to each and every one of you. I think it's a more comfortable situation for you guys to click on the video. It's only 1 minute. Watch it to the end. And then if you're interested in the article, click on that link. It will take you directly to that article on planetxnews.org. And then allowing you to comfortably share it with your friends and your family or your groups. All of the information is right there, and we are going to continue with this format. And yes, we will have our regular videos. We will have regular live streams. Dr. Albers is continuing with all of her reports. She actually mentioned to me yesterday she wanted to start on another book. And that's something else, folks. You know, the books that we did on the sun simulator and the chemtrails, they've been doing very, very well on Amazon. People are really, really, reading these books. They have a lot of questions, and it's raising a lot of awareness. And that is our main goal. Listen, I'm not just some punk YouTuber that's sitting here, worried about my YouTube views. When I say I'm worried about my YouTube views is because I get pissed off because I'm being censored. Because I know there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that should be listening to Planet X News and many others, because you have the right to the information. But those rights are being stripped away, folks. You know it. I know it. But do the millions of other people around the world and within your countries, do they know it? It is time to take a stand. You have a voice. Use it. We no longer have time to cower down like a little puppy dog. We need to stand up, and they need to hear us roar. There's only so much that one person can do, but you know damn well, power is within numbers. And don't ever forget, folks, we outnumber them. And that is one of their biggest fears. That much is a fact. Now, let me get out of here. I was looking at some SDO information, and let me just go ahead and open this up. I was going through a lot of the SDO and stereo, and quite a few people have emailed me and inboxed me about some crazy things that they've been seeing. And I'm going to be honest, folks. I truly believe that now NASA, the boys in blue, the space agencies are highly manipulating everything. No doubt about it. But they will slip up from time to time, and I will be waiting right there to clean it up and bring the information straight to you guys. Now, this is some short video clips I've put together showing that small X flare. Now, again, folks, nothing really to write home about, but whenever we do have a small X flare, we need to be paying attention, because we had that massive one last year, and this is just a small one, but it's pretty cool to look at. I've put it together so we can check it out. You'll see it happens very, very fast. Right in the center of your screen, you'll see a very faint X. Hence the way they call it an X flare. Very, very minor. But, there's been some things on the sun lately, a bunch of sunspots cruising through. We're in this solar minimum, approaching into the solar minimum. Sunspots have been here and there. But now, a lot of activity. So, it's kind of odd. The activity should be decreasing, not increasing. So these are just some clips that I caught from a few of the other solar sites that I'm able to get some higher definition video clips from. And you could see the X flare right there. Again, nothing major, nothing that's going to destroy our planet. But again, very, very interesting to watch it. I made this video clip on HelioViewer. This is showing that very, very active zone. I put this into a 4K ultra high definition, and you could barely see that X flare, but it's there. Very, very active sunspot moving away from Earth. So again, nothing to worry about in the very near future. But this sunspot may survive, and it may rotate all the way back around in about 25 days, and we may be dealing with it at that point. I want to go ahead and show you a few pictures here. Earlier today, one of my main guys over there, Simon Briscoe, I'll give a big shout out to Simon. He was looking at some stereo core 2 images of the sun and the coronagraph, noticing a lot of very, very odd things. And folks, last year I sent an email to a lady who runs the website for stereo. Asked her a bunch of questions. I told her I was a elementary school teacher teaching Earth space science. And I was showing my students some of the things that were occurring. But then there were some things I couldn't explain. She did return my email. And the things that I was pointing out, she told me they were cosmic rays bouncing off of the detector on the stereo spacecraft. Well, look, I knew damn well that she wasn't going to tell me the truth. I just wanted to see what her reaction would be. This is one of the current photographs that I captured today. Oh, once again, kind of a weird shape right there. I couldn't definitively say what that is, but it is very, very strange. There is also a very, very large sphere right here. And, folks, people involved in these trolling operations, they will tell you that these are coronal prominences, coronal loops, and quite frankly, that is all bullshit. Okay, these coronal prominences, they are not perfectly spherical. They are sort of teardrop shaped or shaped like a football. They have very, very distinct shapes. They are not spherical. So whenever we see these kind of shadowy figures deep within the corona of the sun or back behind the sun, you really have to take a close look at these. Because we know that these stellar cores, or Planet X, we know that it is lurking near the sun. I have produced thousands of photographs documenting this. Okay? It's undeniable. Undeniable. Here's just another picture in 4K pointing out what this is. And it looks very, very odd, but this was the best and clearest shot that I could get. Now, this is what my main man, Simon Briscoe, was referring to. And I went a little in depth, and I captured these on HelioViewer, and I produced them into a 4K, much, much higher resolution. And this right here, these little objects, okay, all of these little objects right here, this is what Simon was referring to and asking me about. This is also what I asked the people at Stereo about. What are these? I wanted to see what they had to say. They told me that they were cosmic rays bouncing off the detector. I'm sorry. I got to laugh at that because that's just, again, another line of disinformation that they're giving us. So, if you look at them, they look like, small spheres with, gaseous material around them. This is not the first time that I've shown these. And, me and Dr. Elbers were going over these a lot last year, and they were popping up all over the place, and then they kind of died down. But then months later, bingo, they were coming back. Now, this could also be material being ejected from the sun, but I doubt that. I doubt that highly. Now, moving into this photograph, this is the other side of the sun, and this is occurring, and you can see, multiple, I'll zoom in here for you. You can see a black sphere right there. And you can see this gaseous material coming off of it. These are very, very small. I'll post the pictures on the Planet X News Facebook page. If any of you guys want to download them and, critique them yourself, you can. But, these objects are small. They're about maybe the size of Earth, maybe a little bit smaller. And then I was looking at some more, footage and picking through some of it. And, bingo, here we go again. Now, it's not that crystal clear, but right here, I see a perfect arc. And then it starts to form a perfect sphere. You guys may not be able to see it that clear, but I can see faintly right here. And it's behind the sun. It's not a coronal prominence. If that was a coronal prominence, that would be, oh my, over 100,000, 200,000 miles across from one point to another. Coronal prominences usually aren't that big. I just shaded it a little bit more so you can see the shadowy contrast behind there. Very, very well defined line right here. Makes you wonder. Now, I have captured a few months ago a massive object where you were actually able to see the craters and the surface area, and it was right about here. So that leads me back to believing that something is orbiting our sun because we are capturing it here and there. Now, I think they've been cleaning up a lot of their data and their pictures, and we haven't been able to find all that much, but they are going to miss things. Back to these little objects that are all around the sun. I'm not buying the cosmic rays. I'm not buying the JPEG artifacts. I mean, they will say anything under the sun, no pun intended, and tell you what these are. I mean, does that really look like a JPEG artifact? Hell no. Here's the little pixelization behind it as interference was bouncing off of the detectors on the stereo spacecraft. But that object right there and many other smaller ones, boy, they came in crystal damn clear, didn't they? Yeah, they did. So, I went back and forth with Simon, and I showed him what I was able to dig up. And, folks, there's a high possibility these little objects, some of them, I know the ones that have like this little gaseous material around them, I don't think that those are little JPEG artifacts from the camera systems. I don't think those are cosmic rays bouncing off of the detector on the stereo spacecraft. But then, that's my opinion. I zoomed in and I created, again, a much, much higher definition. If you zoom in a little too much, it gets a little blurry. But again, a JPEG artifact? Come on, troll babies. You got to be able to do better than that. and I'm sure they will attempt to. So this is what Simon was asking about today. And, we've seen these objects before. We've seen them. It seems whenever they do get very, very close to the sun, within the reach of the sun's corona, all of this gaseous material around them, it just starts to appear, which would be normal if a small star or a core of a star, something the size of the Earth or smaller or just slightly bigger, that would be the interaction that would occur. It's not going to completely just blow up and explode. Now, if it was a planet, a rocky planet like Earth, it would never get that close to the sun because it would be pulled apart and disintegrated. But folks, we're not dealing with Earth-like objects. We are dealing with the old cores of stars. It has been theorized that our own sun, in about 1 billion years or so, will start to expand to 10 times its size. And then it will burn out, possibly blow the hell up, and form a white dwarf. Not much is known about these white dwarfs. Dr. Elbers has talked about it before, but that is one theory that has been bouncing around out there now for quite some time about our own sun. I don't think we have anything to worry about it because I don't think any of us are going to live to be a couple of billions of years old, but who knows? But it is interesting whenever you start to see these objects. And this one, you really can't see what exactly is going on in there. But it's pretty cool to look at. So, that's where we're at, folks. We've got a lot going on around us, from politics to weather and to earth changes. The only thing we can do about it is spread the word, spread awareness, create the awakening. I mean, I myself, sometimes I don't know exactly what to do. I try to find ways. We create the ways to get the information out there to everybody. We try to get all of you to interact with us. And then there's the resistance. We have to fight them because they want to stop us. And if you think about it, why would they want to stop something if it wasn't true? If there was nothing to worry about, why bother me? Why harass Dr. Elbers? Why harass the others on YouTube and Facebook that delve into this subject matter? Why? They think that we should be wearing the little tinfoil hat? So what? Talk is cheap. We've produced the evidence over the course of the last 2.5 years. Evidence that is so undeniable that we have become a threat. We've become a threat to expose what is truly out there and what is truly happening. Case in point, folks. A few days ago, I received an email from a Russian television station. REN TV. They've been around since 1997. The email came from one of their assistant producers. In her email, she basically said that her executive producer has been watching Planet X News and Dr. Elbers for quite some time. And now they are truly seeing what is happening. She gave me her telephone number out in Los Angeles because they have stations in LA, in New York, Washington, D.C., and a few other major cities. She asked if we would be willing to sit down with their film crew and interview us, and they want to put the information into a documentary for their Russian TV station. And after talking to Natalie, I agreed that this would be a good idea. So, this upcoming Thursday, they're sending a film crew to meet with Dr. Elbers and I. And we're going to take it from there. I think the exposure would be fantastic, at least for the Russian people that watch their station. Not only here in the United States, but probably from around the world, because, just because you're from one country doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up all your life. So there are people from Russia all over the world. They tune in to REN TV. I've taken a pretty close look at their website and their documentaries. Very, very interesting, well put together documentaries. I like the idea. So we're willing to help each other. So whenever that comes about, all of you will know. And whenever the documentary comes out, we will preview it right here on Planet X News. We will be recording this documentary interview this upcoming Thursday at a secret location. At a secret location. And yes, we will have our own security there during this taping. Something else I want to mention real quick in closing, ladies and gentlemen. We are not too far away from this new online video platform taking over the internet. It is similar to YouTube, almost identical. Not going to reveal the name of it yet. We have already been accepted as one of their channels. It is unlike YouTube because you cannot just open up a channel and then go and use it for harassing and trolling. You have to be approved. You have to have content already produced, and you have to submit that content to this platform in order to be approved for a channel. We got our approval a few weeks ago, and we've been in contact with this new platform online, and they have over 20,000 channels right now that have been approved, and there will be no censoring, there will be no filtering. If you simply follow the rules, all of you will be able to see everything that we do, just like you're seeing it right now here on YouTube. I'm starting to think that maybe possibly some of these higher up engineers that were fired from Google and YouTube a while back because they didn't like the way things were, they didn't like the way things were going. They didn't like the way that YouTube was going and Google was going in these weird governmental directions. Maybe they had the money and they got the funding to put together their own platform. I don't really know. But it kind of sounds like it. But who cares? They're doing the right thing. And there's a lot of us here on YouTube, channel creators, video producers, investigators, researchers, truthers, whatever you want to call us. We're going to be converting over to this new platform. Everything will be pretty much the same as YouTube. They have advertisers because you do need to produce revenue in order to keep your company moving, folks. So, yes, there will be small video ads on those videos. They told us here at Planet X News, keep all of your videos, keep all of your content, And whenever you're given the go-ahead, your channel will be there. You'll be instructed on how to use it, how to upload, and go for it. And that's exactly what we are going to do. I can't wait. They're looking sometime mid-July, possibly towards the end of July. When that time comes, you all will know it. I want to send out some thank yous to a whole bunch of people that have been sending in, financial donations. And, we don't really go out there and ask for them. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Robert Culver. Straight up fantastic guy. He's been a big support for Planet X News. Robert, thank you very much. And for all of you out there that have donated specifically for Dr. Elbers, all of those donations are just, they're fantastic. She's been in need of a new computer. Her laptop is, even though it's only about a year old, as much work and as much data as we put into these computers, they do slow down, and, she does need to make an upgrade. So, Mr. Culver, those donations that you've made, they're going to be going to a new computer system for Dr. Elbers so she can continue doing what she does. And it is a good thing. It's a fantastic thing. And I'm glad that she is now able to, move into different avenues of research that she really couldn't delve into when she was a professor at Wits University. So for the trolling operations and the troll babies that got her fired, hey, you know what? You thought you did a good thing for your people, but you did a fantastic thing for our people. You changed the course of time with your rottenness. You screwed up, and you know it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hit the store. Get those Planet X t-shirts, those chemtrail t-shirts. Wear them proudly. Talk about them. I hope all of you can get used to the new format that we are producing here at Planet X News. I think it will help get a lot more information out there in detail, and I think it will be more comfortable for you guys to view the information in more detail comfortably. If you have any suggestions, inbox me, email me, let me know what you think, because it's going to be